welcome my Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your 7-card draw. What do I need shadow read for this full moon in Aquarius, waning to new in Leo? I am your reader. Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions since 1998, author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch on Kindle, the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hey, my Scorps. Hope you are well, and if you are new to the channel, we are doing a 7-card draw, which means nothing more and nothing less than one card from 7 different decks of cards. We're doing 2 tarot cards, 2 healing systems, 3 oracles to get you the clues, tips, and hints that you need about a specific timeline. This is not a timeless read. This is a timed read, a time-full read, whatever. We are looking at the full moon in Aquarius on Friday, July 23rd, 10:37 p.m. Eastern Time. I am in New York. Please don't make me do math. And then we are looking at a waning moon, right, from full to noon. Boop, 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 boop. They gave me that image and sound effect for this series this time around. I'm kind of digging it. Boop, 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 right? To release, to let go of, to alchemize from lead to gold, lead having 3 more atoms than gold, from shadow to light, looking at the stuff that you don't want to look at within yourself or that you don't want anybody else to see, in order to make room, right, to change the lead of the insulator holding stuff in, energy can't go through lead, ask Kal-El, to gold, a conductor, so that we can hit that new moon in Leo with more clarity, creativity, and certainly more space for the things that we want to pray for, cast for, what have you. And I do new moon to full moon reads for that as well. So, it's a general read, you know that, right? Take what resonates, blah, blah, blah. Check your other signs, though, because sometimes you get different information about the same thing, like what we're about to look at here, or something else that you need to be aware of in terms of letting go, right? It's just part of the healing cycle. Without the waning energy, right, how would we digest our food? We would eat it, but we wouldn't be able to digest it, right? Because there is that destructive letting go, sorting through, taking what resonates and releasing what doesn't, if you want to go that way with it. So both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. If you want to book me for a reading, it's easy enough to do. Find me on social media. I don't reach out to clients. Clients reach out to me. I am a busy, busy witch. So if you want to do that, find me on Facebook, Angelo Lyons in Holbrook, New York, or Angelo Lyons on Instagram. You'll see my face in the profile. Or you can reach me Twitter at profwitch.com. Those are links down in the description box, as well as you can email me at drawingthecircle@gmail.com. Just give me a few days because of the spam game. If it's your first time contacting me, it can get a little nuts. We could do Zoom, right, where you can record it on your end, or I could record it on my end, send it to you, you download it, then you tell me you download it, and then I delete it because I don't want it in my cloud. I don't want other people's stuff in my cloud. Or that really the highest video quality that I've seen so far, at least, is definitely on Facebook video call, which is unrecordable. And I am doing face-to-face readings if you are on Long Island until I have an external space to do that in. I don't mind making house calls, but I kind of have to know, yeah, I'm just not driving into nowhere. I'm not on a road to nowhere. I'm on a road to somewhere. That being said, both feet on the floor. If you can, focus on your breath, if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I can from my pantheons of the divine using these decks of cards, which are all listed in the bottom of the description box, along with my book and stuff on Vimeo on demand. If you want to take some of my classes and workshops, they're all on there. Otherwise, just take a nice deep breath. Breathe. Famous last words. As I call to, yeah, here we go, my collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters, the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, and the pantheon of all pantheons, please, what is the dominant archetype in play in the 8th chakra, hovering over the head for the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus Sun watching this video, receiving this reading, showing us the soul power that they are dealing with, that they are alchemizing from lead to gold, shadow to light, pain to peace, toxic to healthy, whether it's their archetype they're dealing with, somebody else's situation. In the 8th, it affects every other chakra in the energy system. This full moon in Aquarius, waning to new in Leo, and you've got one of the survival family archetypes, the child archetype, but the eternal child, Peter or Paula Pan, depending on how you identify. Everybody has the child, the victim, the saboteur, and the prostitute. Read Sacred Contracts by Carolyn May. She does tons of videos on YouTube if you want to go deeper into that, but the book is brilliant. But not everybody might necessarily have the eternal child. The child archetype is the only one in the survival families that have sub-patterns or sub-archetypes. So there's the orphan child, the wounded child, the divine child, the nature child, and on and on and on. This is the eternal child. The shadow, as I said, is either what you don't want to look at within yourself, or if you do know about it, you don't want anybody to see it. This could also be somebody that you're dealing with. The shadow attribute, inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on others for physical security. And, you know, we see that when people are infantilized throughout their lives. It's, you know, it starts at a very, very young age, particularly if there's trauma around that in the childhood. So that might be your case, that might not be, but catch the light attribute. Determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes, and that innocence is very, very key. The child of our heart, right, the soul, if you will, the purity of who we are, is always willing to see things through fresh eyes, right? Always in new beginnings, right? Unafraid, that openness, those open wings, if you will, to fly of the child. But if there is an extreme dependency on others for physical security, there is a holding on there out of fear. Now, like I said, this can happen in childhood. Abuse, neglect, abandonment, codependence, loss, all of that stuff can be woven into that. So, you know, I've got a touch of the eternal child. It's really not my dominant archetype. I'm more the divine child, but you know, I'm 52 years old, and I know I don't look it. Thanks, right? Because my life is about uncovering that innocence. I've done a lot of inner child work in this life, and there is a broad spectrum of inner child work. It's not just one thing, right? You could start with John Bradshaw, Homecoming. I think that book was written in the 90s, right? But then there are the metaphysical spiritual takes on it, and the psychological gestalt work. And so, you know, whether you are more on the spiritual side of things, there are 10 billion meditations. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. There's inner child work on that. But maybe you want to go a bit more Jungian. Maybe you want to go a bit more therapist. If this is indeed yours, or again, this could be someone that you are dealing with. So, you know, you can ask yourself, who has an extreme dependency on me for physical security? But it could also be that you are more in that light aspect of it, but only you can know that in a general read. Healing with the Angels Oracle. Who are the angels that you can work with? The call always has to come from us when it comes to the angels. They do not intervene or intercede without us asking, right? Like it's a boundary issue for them. My cats are doing weird shit today. Hey, Belzy. You okay, boy? They're like skulking around for no reason. All right, please take a nice deep breath. They are dependent upon me for their survival. Someone's got to open the can and scoop the litter, right? Before, then after. Breathe. They're my babies. Please, I call upon my angels and archangels of water and the sign of Scorpio, the Gabrielites, the element of the west water. Please, who are the healing legions of angels that the Scorpio Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun watching this video, receiving this reading can turn to, tune to, pray to, ask for help, alchemizing this eternal child archetype in their energy field in some way, shape, or form. This full moon in Aquarius to new moon in Leo. You got the card of celebration. The healing angels of celebration. So, you know, a little odd for a waxing read. to perhaps celebrate something that has come to its fruition, right? We see here an angel with outstretched wings, but with a full moon. So, we are looking at a full moon here, full moon in Aquarius, and certainly to celebrate how far you've come, how much you've grown, your eternal nature, your innocence. It's certainly, because it's a healing angel, not a destructive, wounding angel, this wouldn't be about suppressing that shadow. It would be a way of saying, yeah, I have learned a lot, and, I've still kept my innocence about me. There's a certain thing saying to the child of your heart. That's how I do inner child work. I know my heart chakra is my inner child. So sometimes I say, look, honey, we have been through so much. Look at how strong you are. Look at how strong you are. Yeah, maybe we didn't always have all the right answers. Maybe we've been lied to. Maybe we were sent down one path instead of another. But we've survived it all, right? Ups and downs, ashes and rising again and again and again. So that the shadow work can be done from a place maybe not of kicking up your heels celebrating, but celebrating that innocence is always still intact within you, though obscured, right? Like the sun never goes out, but it can be obscured by clouds. It doesn't mean the sun is gone, right? So that innocence, that eternal light, it is the eternal child is within you. And we are all the eternal children of the divine, regardless of, culture, or religion, path, any of that. There's only one of us here. We've got this going on in the 8th. Let's look what's going on in the crown chakra, third eye, throat, and heart. This energy is coming down and through so that you can get a little clarity on what your interior world is doing. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon my goddesses of water in the sign of Scorpio, the deep, deep depths of the ocean, as well as the swamp, right? That fixed, murky, secretive water. What's going on? Heart, throat, third eye, crown for the Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading that they need to be aware of, that they need to tend to, perhaps even celebrate with that eternal child archetype in alchemical process. This full moon in Aquarius, that's 2, full moon in Aquarius to new moon in Leo. Okay, now don't freak. 3 of blades, 3 of swords is different in this deck than heartbreak, although certainly it could absolutely have to do with a heartbreak. But I've always felt like 5 of cups is a better card for heartbreak because it's water, right? Emotion. This is air. A maiden, a mother, and a crone sitting in the desert, focusing, crystals hovering over their head, putting their minds together to get to the heart of the matter, which I think is a much clearer interpretation of Pamela Coleman Smith's version of the 3 of Swords that we see in the Rider-Waite deck and the Coleman deck, and the Coleman Smith deck. Pamela Coleman Smith, those 3 swords converging to get to the heart of the matter. This is very much element of air, though. Like, you can't change the element once you're in the game. So we are looking at a convergence here of mind, perhaps going within, getting to the emotional heart of the matter, perhaps, to see what is there for this eternal child to celebrate. And the thing, what people don't understand about the word eternal, it doesn't mean all time, it means timeless. That there's the temporal and the eternal, and you can only find the eternal here, now. But the shadow side of the eternal child can have a long history, right, of an inability to support themselves. Now, support just doesn't come only as finances. That can be emotional support, mental support, supportive friends, but an inability to grow up and be responsible. And that means having the ability to respond, and that can certainly have to do with, like I said, a toxic childhood, and who didn't have one of those, right? Everybody. I mean, unless you were raised in an ashram, right? Unless you were raised in Shangri fucking La, you probably have. And if you didn't get it at home, you got it in the schoolyard, or you got it from the neighborhood, right? We all have conditioning we have to live through, and my channel is 18 and above. It's only for adults, so I kind of have to address that. I mean, unless there really is a child in your care, which I could see that happening, but then to celebrate that by getting to the heart of the matter here, to find that eternal love within you with its innocence. Interesting. From the outside looking in, the Mythic Tarot, this will complete the chakric range. This will be solar plexus, sacrum, and root chakra. What this looks like from the outside looking in at you, or you from the inside looking out at some aspect of the physical world, or something that is dealing with those lower 3 chakras. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon my gods of water in the sign of Scorpio, Poseidon and Hades, please, the 2 brothers of Zeus, go deep for me here. What's going on here for the Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading? In their lower 3 chakra dynamic here, they've got the eternal child in the 8th, the healing angel of celebration can help them celebrate something here. Getting to the heart of the matter, intense internal focus, literally written on the card at the bottom is the word focus, which I prefer than automatically calling it heartbreak every single time. What's going on that they need to be aware of from the outside looking in or the inside looking out? This full moon in Aquarius, waning to new in Leo. Can't leave that card in my hand. I felt it. That's the one. That's the one. And you got the devil. Womp womp. Well, certainly the devil on the outer. That if that's not you in chains of pain, and I would think the toxicity, the wounds, the unfinished business, the emotional baggage of the childhood, then perhaps you are dealing with somebody that there is a codependent tie to, them dependent upon you for physical security. There's a difference between survival and security, or vice versa. That there are chains here that are not allowing for there to be true freedom. Now, you know, if we're talking about literal children involved here some way, shape, or form, that's understandable. Children, they can't drive, right? You know, and some people call like 17-year-olds children. I understand by the law that's true, but you know, plenty of people work at age 16 and start making for their own. I'm not getting that here. There may very well be children involved if this is a marriage situation, but someone's in chains of pain, chains of illusion, chains of fear, chains of smoke, meaning that they appear so real. But if you get to the heart of the matter, you see that they're not, that they're illusions, that you could break free from them, but you don't out of fear. So yes, could there be addiction issues here? Sure. If there's a lot of internal pain here, and maybe this celebration is teaching you how to celebrate, or somebody how to celebrate in a healthier way, to medicate the pain of this child within. So again, you have to kind of figure out who you are in this, because nobody wants to look at that stuff. But isn't that the nature of the devil, right? The less you look at it, the more in chains you are, because you don't want to bring truth to your illusions. You want to bring your illusions to truth, right? You don't want to bring light into the shadow, because once that light is turned away, the shadow is there. It's an absence of light. You want to bring your shadows up to the light. And that's why I really get that this card, although it may indeed be painful, and really, is it shadow work? Unless it's painful. By the way, it's not all crap and horror in the underworld. In the shadow, you have gifts, right? It's where all the great gems are, all the deeper wisdom. And maybe that's it. Maybe there's something really to be celebrated here, regardless of what went on in your past. I'm not saying that's easy, but I am saying it's powerful. So what are the chains that are binding you? Yeah. Or someone else, right? Again, you could be a caretaker of somebody who just will not grow up. You know, and that isn't always necessarily a romantic marriage, whatever situation. So let's turn to the healing mantra deck here. The voices of the the Ascended Masters. And I don't know, can I say this is a soul contract read? I mean, this can all be within somebody's energy field without anybody else externally involved here. But only you can know that. So I'm going to go to General Assembly because I'm allowed to ask for specific groups of Ascended Masters. Please take a nice deep breath. Yeah, well, we say healing. All right, so I call upon the Ascended Masters of Healing, all levels, holistic, holographic, and all that jazz, please. What is the perfect healing mantra for the Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, alchemizing the eternal child archetype from lead to gold, calling upon the healing angels of celebration, doing that 3 of blades, deep inner focus, not so much meditation, but getting to the heart of the matter. Certainly there's a stabilization of focus too, to really get what is this about on the inner. Dealing with that devil card, Pan, in this deck, which I don't think of as an evil force certainly, but it can certainly be base motives, right? Particularly survival and security issues and insecurity issues. So what is the perfect healing mantra for the Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading to help them heal this with the shadow work necessary? This full moon in Aquarius to new in Leo. Invoking self-realization. Each breath confirms how awake I already am. And because we've got that 3 of blades here, I wasn't going to read from the bookie book from this one, because we've got another bookie book at the end with the Blessed Bee Oracle. They're telling me to read this, and I will read this for you because, okay, each breath confirms how awake I already am. In other words, if I'm aware that I'm breathing, I'm awake. But it's deeper than that. Invoking self-realization rather than other people realizing things for you or you realizing others. This is about self-realization. Now, that word, realization, can be where you have this truth, this image that you make real. In other words, yes, this is very third eye, self-realization, oh, I realize it, but it's also about self-actualization, which if there's an inability to grow up and be responsible, this is the mantra. Each breath confirms how awake I already am. Self-realization is a spontaneous remembrance of your interconnection to all that is. Totally no need to be dependent upon anyone. If you get that realization that you're interconnected with all that is, we're all one. You are willing to embrace your individuality as a unique expression of source in physical form. A unique expression of source. In other words, we are all eternal children in that sense. By aligning with the breath, you see that while you appear to be a person, it is the universe that breathes everything into existence. So you didn't create you, and neither did your parents, right? And neither did society. The truth of who you are, the eternal nature of who you are, was created by Source itself. I call it the mother of all. Before there was the Tao, there was her, right? She who gave birth to the Tao. That's a bit intense. This mantra is ideal for reducing stress, managing pain, and relaxing the nervous system. I don't know if any of you follow Dan. I can't pronounce his name right. Vadnais, V-A-D-N-A-I-S. He does a lot of breath work on his channel. He's so cute. I did like a whole round of like 3 rounds of shamanic breath and fire breath and I call it cyclic breath. I forget what he calls it off the top of my head. So breath work, rebirthing comes to mind. Yeah, look up rebirthing. Sandra Ray, Phil Lott. Really the rebirthing movement of the 80s and the 90s helped people go back and heal childhood trauma, even trauma in the womb. And certainly a way of focusing the mind and focusing on the breath, then invoking self-realization that you are the breath. What are we without breath? Right? Prana, I believe in Sanskrit, means both spirit and breath, hence pranayama, prana yoga, all that kind of stuff. So maybe some breath work here to help you really connect with the eternal, even behind and within that eternal child. Pretty neat, very transformative. And I will say, for water signs, if particularly Scorpios that like to keep things hidden, you can do breath work and do a lot of emotional release. And nobody knows, right? I know you guys like to keep that stuff secret. Whatever pain, trauma went on here, I mean, if you're presenting as the devil, as someone who's in chains, then maybe you're acting from that pain without realizing it. But this healing angel of celebration is just like staring. It's like, it's time for this to be resolved. Maybe not all at once, but we are looking at least a 2-week period here of a waning moon. So let's see what this is about from the higher selves of all involved. The party turner deck of the whispers of love that often throws a wild card in. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon the higher selves of all involved here, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, what is for them the whisper of love for the Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, watching this video, receiving this reading, the piece of information, inspiration, insight they need to alchemize this eternal child, calling in the healing angels of celebration with a deep focus. 3 of Blades, focusing the mind within to deal with that devil without, however that plays out for whoever is watching this. Invoking self-realization, because how asleep can they be when each breath confirms how awake they already are? This full moon in Aquarius, waning to new in Leo. Back to what you love. Back to what you love. Your current situation is giving you an opportunity to reevaluate what you want. You know, when we have, and I've done, like I said, I've done a lot of inner child work. Really feels like I'd be helpful. That may not be the modality you're called to, and that's fine. But certainly, you know, that kind of excavating and exploring that unfinished business, right? The soul contracts. My father was my father, but he died when I was 17 years old, in between high school and college. Right, this when I was getting out of high school. That summer, he died. Moved to Boston, and he was a tyrant. He was toxic. So I knew going in to my adult life, living in Boston, the Boston Conservatory of Music, Dance, and Theatre, darling, that I was going to run into a lot of father issues. And I feel like I dated my dad in 19 different bodies, right? Until I learned that lesson. Well, I will say, breathwork and rebirthing got me really, really clear on what it is that I want. All right, no more fuckboys. No more liars, deceivers, even though my dad was a Gemini. I checked their charts, right? Do you have any Gemini in there anywhere? And thanks, but no thanks, right? So this opportunity, and it's interesting, the words, the current situation is giving you an opportunity to reevaluate, to assign different value, to feel this out of what it is that you really want. And if you are in a codependent relationship with somebody who cannot, or you perhaps have an extreme dependency on them for physical security, here's an opportunity for you to really shift that, at least in the internal dynamic. Because if it's symbiotic, that's fine. Plenty of couples, right? This is so old-fashioned, so play with the gender as you want. One of them brings home the bacon, the other one fries it up in a pan, right? I bet if you know that song, you have it stuck in your head. 'Cause I'm a woman. Wasn't that the Angelo commercial? Yeah, I think it was. Fucking 70s commercial flashbacks. So your higher self is saying this is a time to really reevaluate, to get back to what is true for you, what is truly love for you. Because really, when you're dealing with the devil, the highest form of exorcism, in the name of Matt Kahn's first book, whatever arises, love that. Give it the love, right? Because fear is to love as shadow is to light. Whatever arises, love that. And certainly with this in your interior, that does make sense. And just keep breathing, breathing, breathing. The last card down from the pantheons of pantheons, meaning of all races, whatever, lineages, what have you. The blessed be, the mystical Celtic blessing cards to enrich and empower by Lucy Cavendish, because she's got a cool name. I gotta say it that way, like I'm detritus from Discworld on audiobook. Breathe. Yeah, Terry Pratchett's not for kids. Well, Truckers and Diggers and Wings, oh my, might be, but Discworld not so much. Breathe. Yeah, I'm a big turtle head. The turtle moves. Here we go. I call to the pantheons of pantheons, of all lineages, all races, all cultures, the gods and goddesses therein. What is the blessing you place upon this Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this reading, who needs to alchemize the inability to grow up and be responsible or extreme dependency on others for physical security into the determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes, which means no longer seeing through a glass darkly. New Testament from the witch, with the healing angels of celebration and going within, because there's something to celebrate. In other words, it's not all lead in there. There is gold. We're all somewhere on that spectrum of lead to gold, shadow to light, toxic to healthy, in any archetypal pattern, unless you're brand new to planet Earth, which you're probably not if you're watching my channel, with the devil. From the outside looking in or from the inside looking out, there are chains of pain, chains of shadow. I mean, this really does indicate shadow work that may be triggered by the outside, so that they can invoke their self-realization, each breath confirming how awake they already are, how aware they already are, so that they can get back to what they love in their current situation, giving them the opportunity to reevaluate what they want, and then possibly speaking up for themselves with that throat chakra wet cough that just happened there for a Scorpio. To find out you're viscerally intuitive at 52 years old is a bit tricky. I guess I always was. So what is the blessing from the Blessed Bee? Cards that you have placed upon this Scorpio with all of this full moon in Aquarius, waning to new in Leo. A blessing on a friendship. Oh God, she really does look like Madonna. Well, current day Madonna with a unicorn. Girl, it's 10 tons of muscle with a point at the end, deadly weapon on its head. I have a thing about unicorns. Right? Deadly weapon on its head can only be tamed by a virgin, and where you gonna find one? Right. Read Lords and Ladies by Terry Pratchett. Everything I really needed to learn about witchcraft I learned from Terry Pratchett. But how lovely. Blessings on a friendship. Card number 14. Oh, I forgot to put my blessing cords on. I always keep them handy. I sleep with them too. It's like being in circle all the time. Card number 14. Oh, not terribly long, but I do need this to read the micro italic introduction. Please breathe. A blessing on a friendship. A blessing for a friendship where your best self is given permission to emerge and grow, and where mutual love is shared in good times and in bad. Breathe. May your friendship be blessed with laughter, but never at the expense of the dignity of one of you. May your friendship be a delight to you both, a time of warmth and sharing, give and take, small offerings of what you have sent back and forth between you. May you be kind to each other and honest, too. May you have the trust that true friendship needs to speak of things of the soul, and may there be loyalty one to the other without chains or obedience, but freely given. May there be affinities of the spirit, differences to exalt in, and if harsh thoughts or words enter into and blight the path of your companionship, may you pick them up as a stone in the road and move them out of your way. May there be closeness, but a bright and blessed space between you two. May you support each other's soul endeavors. May you breathe life to the fire of each other's dreams. This is really on the nose. And may there be moments of shared rapture with the simple things, the song you love most, the glory of dawn, the offering of meals, the breaking of bread, the warm circle of the arms of a friend which holds you while the world about you or within you is falling down. This is good for shadow work. Let there be mutual care, and may your friendship endure amidst the inconsistencies of the world. Let your friendship have its seasons, but let it turn on and on, ever changing, ever returning to the place where you find love for each other and greater love of self for knowing one another. Blessed be. Before I do the final blessing here, I'm just going to say that hit so many notes in this that maybe you need the good friend to talk to, right? To get to the heart of this matter. And maybe even to do breath work with. I mean, I got rid of a lot of people in my life when I went through like 3 dark nights of the soul, one after the other, like a string of pearls comet hitting me. But certainly the inner child work is what got me through that. And there was a small handful of people that I knew I had vows of confidence. I live by vows of confidentiality. They are woven into these cords. But to have that in exchange to create the safe space. Ultimately, the child archetype is the guardian of innocence and safety. Because if a child feels safe, it can really be honest and open. And then make better choices in terms of how they respond rather than react. But if the child doesn't feel safe, you could take them to Disneyland. They're not going to have a good time, right? If they're under threat, if they're feeling unsafe, unsure. So a blessing on a friendship here. Look, if you are, I don't necessarily know that this friendship is the codependent, if this is the codependent toxic chains that you're in, but it might be someone that you can turn to and talk to about this to help you breathe your way through it, get back to what it is that you really love. And find, and ain't it just like getting together with a good friend that lets you be a little kid again, right? Without someone breathing down your neck or someone like judging you for it. This feels really good. Let me give you the final blessing here, and we'll even make it a little spelly-welly thing for you. Breathe. As I invoke the powers of my pantheons of the divine, for the Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, may they be blessed with all that they need. This full moon in Aquarius, waning to new in Leo, that they may alchemize the eternal child into the gold eternal child with a determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, with the ability to see things through new eyes by getting to the heart of something, seeing things new eyes within them, within their own heart, throat, third eye, crown, with celebration. This now makes sense with that blessing of the friend, right? That this may be done in a lighter way, perhaps, in a way to engage that child within themselves that is always wanting to see things in new ways as long as it feels safe, and that safety and physical security may very well be a safe space so that they can be open and authentic about the chains that bind them, their addictions, their pain. Again, you could be the friend, if not the one dealing with this directly, so that you can get back to what you love. You both can get back to what you love. The situation giving you an opportunity to reevaluate what it is that you really want, while invoking self-realization, each breath confirming how awake you already are, that you are interconnected with all things in unity consciousness, and getting that you are the breath breathing into the body. You are the universe. You're not the body. With a lovely blessing on this friendship, that it be fair, that it be intimate and close, and yet at the same time with lots of space and respect and laughter and compassion and sharing in a non-threatening environment for healing to take place and shadow work to happen for their well-being, for the well-being of the friend either way, and for the well-being of all life as we all go through one of the most challenging times in modern history, and not just wearing masks. I mean, now taking off the masks to be free and vulnerable in a safe space for our healing and for the well-being of all. For the well-being of all, and with harm to none, as we will it, so let it be done. So mote it be. And so it is, yeah. This is spiritual counseling. I do spiritual counseling work. I have talked people through a lot of inner child work over the decades, but as simple as it sounds, it is certainly not easy. So if you would like to book me for not just a reading, but a spiritual counseling, or maybe spiritual counseling instead of, you know how to reach me. I already told you at the beginning of the video. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Gmail, reach out to me. And really, this whole chapter in my book, a couple of chapters actually dealing with the underworld and shadow work and all of that stuff, as well as some serious chakra chapters in there that words of grace might help. It's essentially a prayer book that way. But even all of that aside, reach out to the friend that you know you can trust, right? And I highly recommend breath work, highly recommend rebirthing, holographic breathing. I've also heard of holotropic breathing. Wim Hof, I do Wim Hof every day, and a nice cold shower afterwards. And certainly as a way to get to the heart of who you really are, not just how you're feeling, what you're thinking, or what's going on around you. Cool. Otherwise, wishing you all the very, very best and the very, very blessed in what seems like a very essential, and you are worthy of the love that child within you really yearns for. So have at it, my Scorpio friends. Go deep, and remember, nobody needs to know except maybe a blessed friend. Farewell, and blessed, blessed be.